You can find most forms of music drugs at home, actually. It depends on what you have. Um, this production of heroin music is probably in its own category of description. It would be described as a scoop and a carve anywhere on the plate. Now that sounds like strings. It sounds like any way for you to listen, really. People like death metal. Some people say it's crystal meth on it when you listen to death metal. Now, certain types of metal convert to crack, and crack cracks everything. I'm like super crack. All right. Now, I look out for crack because he or she, they or them, try to keep up with me. Heroin. Get it right off a leather jacket, leather belt. And you just dip it into some chew tobacco, get yourself going for a few hours. But you want to avoid tracking yourself so much that it's consistent. It's not the appropriate age yet. I mean, we all get there in 2,600, 1,200 years from now. We're going to have every spot of exposure from the slave era. Now, Jesus speaks on this frequently. He says, look, I'm flirting now, right? But he's talking to a slave owner because they resurrected him in such a manner. And, you know, I mean, we're drowning in it, basically. I mean, you can find it everywhere. But, I mean, if you get yourself a nice $20 pair of speakers at the Discount Electronic, you could probably get an album and a pair of earbuds, and you could probably solve most of it within a short battery life. Now, some people listen to one song. Now, that's kind of Hispanic for me. But some people can listen to music all day, like at the club. So, I mean, you got your bass subwoofer. That's basically bassman, right? You can hit it. You can solve amphetamines if you're on psych meds. You're probably in some sort of redistributable category. You're probably in modern realism. And most people don't know what heroin sounds like. I mean, you get there, and one day you wake up and you've got tinted lenses on. You hear about last night. You hear about people who you don't remember. You hear about Hollywood. And you find out you wake up as some rock star, right? $1 million house, the casual enterprise. And you never want to go into the extra length. Oh, I didn't need it before. Well, that's right, you didn't. But I mean, you can always just cool off in a shower somewhere. You can always pinch a loaf. You can always figure out where your stomach's at. But I got into 150 hours of this painkiller game. And, you know, I'm just drifting along, having a self-centered monologue, very studious. And I smell a musk. Now, I don't know if it's from the backyard, but it's in the house now, right? So I started taking these eye drops, and that's all it was for me. I mean, the rest of my body can rot, but my eyes were the most important thing because I read every single day. Now, that's something you should remember. Hey, aren't you the guy that said I should read? Right? Yeah, that was me. But you've got so much vocals in your eyes that you can actually catch up with people. Your celebrities, your stars. Most movies and music are available to you. Now, video games are a different category. I mean, an angel said that you only have enough run through for one playthrough. Now, that's not enough. He's trying to spare me the grief. I mean, anything longer than like 30 minutes is probably just playing with yourself, right? I mean, you're not some multiplayer fan, and it's probably going to turn into something else, like something from the soil, from under the earth. You want what's in the house, is what he's trying to say. Now, don't take my word for it, but I'm trying to get into music production, and I got into some things like Scorpion Funk, and it sounds like R2-D2 in some sort of red line race, right? And I start smashing yogurt cups, and I start smashing pudding. And I'm like, man, that sounds good. If only it had some strings in it. No, this clock tower, or this gear tower, is what I think about. Wouldn't it be cool if I dove into a pit somewhere and never crawled out? Well, that's what it's like. And some people can get a natural heroin from cooking a meal. Are you vegetable? Are you carnivorous? And yeah, it goes on to say you can get the stuff at prison. You'll line yourself. You can get it from the psych hospital, psych houses. You can get it walking down the street. Get it in a grocery store. Now, really, I wanted to connect with somebody, so I got this music album. Well, I'm a career gamer. Now, you don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I'm through with that. But I had so much exposure to it that my eyes were kind of drifted, lifeless, and very different than your generic age group. So they brought up giving me morphine for my eyes. Now they say I never got rid of it or used it, so it's just available at home. Some sort of liquid transmission. Now, that's kind of loud, and nobody will ever know what it is. But I mean, there's certain major crackheads from Japan who talk about this stuff all the time. Oh, I can't wait to get rid of this stuff. Can't wait to forge a weapon. Can't wait to turn it into a blade. I'm like, man, I just want to use it all. It's like an endless supply. What's this guy doing? They call it mescaline. They call it ayahuasca. But I don't believe everybody has it on this planet. So, I mean, I sit here and go through some binary, some coding, and I have enough generic medications to produce amphetamines. I can align THC so it is an amphetamine, and I'm even better at cooking heroin. So, you know, grab yourself a pair of eye drops, call it even. Oh, we're not even. Yeah, I know the feeling. But, I mean, I take 24-hour heroin. So if a bullet ever pierces my skull, it's just going to be this big, suspenseful moment that I'm not sure any crackhead is ready for. And that's where we get along. I don't think they can shoot at me either. He looks at me. I'm like, you know, that's pretty cool that we can do that. And as long as we're not distracted and we're peace-loving people. But I mean, I sweat out this COVID-19 and I need a pair of eye drops. So I mean, you know, and if you were ever curious about what other things are like, if you're like a hardcore Hispanic, Mexican, Spaniard, whichever, Toms are such a great thing. Now, they call that legal cocaine. So, if you're ever confused about where we are in the world, you know, I mean, it won't be here forever. I mean, a hospital residency is probably about the coolest thing I could look forward to. Now, I know angel dust is a strong suit, but I never let go. You know, I study hard. I try not to overlook things. I take it for what it's worth. And people tell you who you are. I mean, you have some sharp ears. I would never have noticed that. You know, I need some more eye drops. Good luck catching up.